Abandoned for 117 years, a human mechanic turned it on. Most humans had long stopped visiting this part of the sector. It was far, quiet, and dangerous. But for someone like Jace Arden, it was the perfect place to find work or, better yet, something valuable lying abandoned. Jace was a human mechanic. Not the type who relied on automatic machines or AI to fix things. He preferred hands-on work. His hands were scarred from years of tinkering, of opening panels no one else dared touch, of bringing old metal to life again. People often said humans were fragile in the galaxy, but Jace knew that no machine could match human creativity. And today, he hoped that creativity would pay off. He floated near the edge of the station, peering into the shadowy expanse of the asteroid belt. Most ships avoided these rocks, but rumors spoke of old derelicts hidden in the hollow cores of larger asteroids. Ships lost long ago. Ships abandoned and waiting for someone daring or desperate enough to find them. Jace's heart beat a little faster. There has to be something, he muttered to himself. Something worth more than another rusted crate of fuel cells. He maneuvered his small maintenance shuttle toward a dark hollow in a massive rock. Inside, the asteroid's interior opened into a cavern large enough to swallow the shuttle whole. And there it was, the ship. It wasn't like anything Jace had seen before. Its hull was dark and smooth, with faint lines of metal weaving like circuitry across its surface. Strange symbols glowed faintly where panels had worn thin, almost as if the ship had a pulse of its own. It looked alive. And yet, it had been abandoned for 117 years. Jace anchored his shuttle near the airlock. His instincts screamed caution, but curiosity was stronger. He suited up, grabbing his toolkit, and pried open the airlock with careful fingers. The door hissed as it slowly opened, revealing the ship's interior. The inside was frozen in time. Dust floated in soft clouds, caught in beams of light from his helmet. Panels flickered weakly and cables dangled like vines in a forgotten jungle. There was a strange scent, metallic, slightly burned but clean, as if the ship had been waiting for someone to wake it up. Jace stepped inside, his boots clanging softly on the floor. His eyes roamed over the control panels. Alien designs, perhaps inspired by old human technology, intertwined in ways that made little sense at first glance. Yet, beneath the complexity, Jace could see the logic. Humans had built it, or at least humans had touched its systems. Someone long ago had left a human fingerprint inside this vast, sleeping ship. He touched one panel gently. It resisted at first, then clicked as if acknowledging his presence. Jace frowned. "Interesting," he whispered. There was no AI response, no automated voice welcoming him. The ship was silent, but the silence was not empty. It was heavy, watching, waiting. Jace moved deeper, exploring corridors that twisted like the roots of an ancient tree. He found storage rooms with crates labeled in human script from a century past. Tools, parts, and supplies untouched. One crate contained old star maps, charts of sectors humans had since abandoned. Another had weapons components, sleek and compact, far beyond what current human designs could achieve. "This isn't just a ship," Jace said aloud. "This is a treasure trove." As he walked, he noticed something strange, a panel slightly separated from the wall, almost imperceptible. Curiosity gnawed at him. He pried it open and found a control console covered in dust. A screen lay dormant, dark and lifeless. But etched into the metal were words in perfect, simple English. "Only a human can turn me on." Jace froze. "Only a human," he murmured. He smiled. A challenge. The ship had waited for someone like him. He examined the console, testing switches and sliding levers. Nothing happened. The ship remained dormant. He frowned, studying the connections. Years of experience guided his hands, and slowly he began to connect wires, align circuits, and carefully bypass damaged circuits. The hum of power began softly, a faint vibration under his fingertips. It was working. A soft whir filled the cabin. Panels lit up and faint holographic images flickered on screens long dead. Star charts, navigation routes, diagrams of engines. And then a low, resonating hum as if the ship itself were waking from a deep sleep. Jace stepped back, eyes wide. "You're alive," he whispered, and somehow he felt the ship understood him. For hours he explored and repaired, marveling at what humans had once built. The ship was not just a vessel, it was a masterpiece. Its engines were designed for speed far beyond current human standards. Its weapons were compact but powerful, capable of devastating precision. And hidden deep inside, he found a section labeled Memory Core. He accessed it, and the holograms revealed something astonishing. Logs from 117 years ago, left by the crew who had vanished during the Great Alien War. Humans had sent this ship on a mission nobody else knew about. The mission: explore uncharted space, gather knowledge, and prepare a failsafe in case humanity ever faced extinction. Jace could hardly believe it. Humanity had left something behind, something powerful, and the aliens had never found it. And now, by chance or fate, he was here. The quiet was broken by a sudden tremor. The ship shuddered as if testing him or testing itself. Lights flickered across the control panels and a gentle vibration traveled through the floor. The main power core was coming online. Jace approached it with caution. A large, circular panel glowed faintly at the center of the engine room. The instructions were clear in the ancient human script. To awaken the heart, a human hand must guide the key. Jace reached out. His hand hovered over the panel. His mind raced. Could he actually do this? Could he turn on a ship abandoned for over a century and risk whatever it might unleash? He took a deep breath. Humans were not known for fear of the unknown. They were known for courage, ingenuity, and the stubborn refusal to give up. Jace pressed the panel. The hum grew louder. The air seemed to vibrate. Circuits sparked and then silence. For a moment nothing happened. Then a deep, low voice filled the cabin, not mechanical, not alien, but strangely human in cadence. "I recognize you." Jace's heart pounded. I did it," he said, barely believing it. The ship vibrated again, slowly, methodically, as systems came online one by one. Lights blinked across the corridors, engines warmed, holograms projected long-forgotten star maps. The ship began to speak, in logs, in patterns, in pulses of information that only a human mind could interpret. Jace wandered through the corridors, absorbing everything. He saw records of human ingenuity from over a century ago, designs, calculations, inventions. He realized the aliens had underestimated humans not just once, but again and again. And this ship was proof. Hours passed. Jace worked tirelessly, repairing, analyzing, learning. And then from the bridge he saw it. A holographic projection of the galaxy, pinpointed with unknown sectors. And blinking slowly, a star system marked with human symbols, long abandoned, lost to time. It was a map, a path, a mission waiting to be completed. Jace leaned back, a grin spreading across his face. "Well," he said, "let's see what you can do." But he wasn't alone. Outside the asteroid, sensors he hadn't even known were active picked up something moving. Small ships faint on the scanners approaching fast. Aliens, scavengers, raiders. He could see them now, watching, curious, maybe greedy, but they could not know what he had just awakened. The ship hummed beneath his feet, alive, powerful, waiting for him, and Jace understood something deep down. Humanity had left this legacy behind, and now the galaxy was about to remember that humans never give up, even after 117 years of abandonment. Jace stood on the bridge, looking at the stars. The ship responded to him as if it knew he was its master. The alien scouts would learn soon enough that the human touch was unpredictable, clever, and unstoppable. And with that thought he began plotting. First, survival, then adventure, because this was not just a ship. This was a human story waiting to be written again. The hum grew louder. Lights pulsed. The ship was alive. And Jace Arden, human mechanic, was about to discover just how far humans could reach when the odds were against them. The hum of the ship filled the cavern. Its lights pulsed rhythmically, like a heartbeat, and the air carried a faint vibration that made Jace feel alive in a way he had not in years. Outside, the asteroid belt glimmered faintly as the sun's distant rays struck floating rocks. But Jace's attention was on the ship, his new companion, and the approaching threat. He floated toward the bridge, his tool kit strapped to his waist. Every panel flickered as he passed, showing holographic maps, engine schematics, and logs from long-lost human engineers. The ship was waking, but it was unpredictable. Old circuits sparked, systems booted unevenly, and displays blinked erratically. This was not a modern AI ship that could be overridden with a simple command. It needed a human mind to guide it, to coax it awake. Jace's heart raced. He was about to test something no human had ever tried in over a century, fully activating a forgotten warship. He began with the engines. The power core was already humming steadily, but the propulsion systems were offline. Using his experience, he patched circuits, rerouted energy, and manually aligned the main reactor. Sparks flew, warning lights flashed, the ship shuddered, and then slowly a vibration began along the floor, a gentle, steady push. The engines were alive. Jace smiled. Good. You're waking up. The ship's navigation system flickered to life. Holographic stars and planets appeared in the bridge, highlighting sectors long forgotten. And then something unexpected happened. A small fleet appeared on the sensors, faint blips moving fast toward the asteroid. Jace froze. Not good, he muttered. He zoomed in on the readings. The ships were small, sleek, alien in design, their hulls dark and almost invisible against the shadows of space. Scavengers, raiders, aliens. They had detected the activation of the ship. The AI, or what passed for it, reacted in a strange way. Lights along the hull of the bridge pulsed faster. Systems shifted. It was almost as if the ship itself were evaluating the threat. Jace understood. The ship was alive. It responded to human decisions, not commands. He would need to think, act, and improvise exactly what humans did best. He made a rapid decision. If he stayed, they would board him. He needed to move the ship now. Using manual controls, he initiated a slow launch sequence. The asteroid shuddered as the engines fired. Dust and rock fragments blasted into space as the ship floated free of the cavern. Outside, the alien scouts blinked on the sensors. Their sensors were precise, their targeting accurate, but they were not prepared for unpredictability. Humans were always messy in ways they could not calculate. Jace maneuvered the ship through narrow asteroid passages, weaving between rocks that the alien sensors could not anticipate. The fleet struggled to follow, colliding with debris, narrowly avoiding collisions. And all the while, the ship responded to him as though it were alive, adjusting its trajectory in perfect harmony with his decisions. Hours passed as they danced through the asteroid belt. Jace studied the ship's systems while dodging alien fire. Weapons were offline, but defensive shields flickered weakly, enough to deflect minor attacks. The ship was not fully armed, but it was fast, and humans were clever. He found a weapons panel in the main control room and began activating systems manually. Old holographic schematics displayed the locations of hidden weapons. Compact turrets slid from compartments in the hull, their targeting systems coming online. The ship hummed with anticipation, responding to his instructions. The alien fleet pressed closer. Their main ship fired a pulse that would have destroyed most human vessels, but Jace had learned the ship's quirks. He directed the pulse toward a floating asteroid, and the shockwave deflected harmlessly off it. A grin spread across his face. Predictable, he said. The aliens were confused. Their sensors could not understand the ship's movements. They expected direct lines, predictable maneuvers. Instead, Jace led the ship through a series of sharp turns, loops, and sudden drops. Each time the ship responded perfectly, almost anticipating his thoughts. He realized the ship systems were designed for human intuition, not brute force logic. As they escaped, he explored the logs further. Centuries-old records revealed that the ship's original mission had been far more than exploration. It was a failsafe. Humanity had built it to survive in case of alien attacks. Weapons, engines, shields, all were designed to be operated by human creativity, something no alien fleet could predict. Jace's mind raced. If he could fully awaken the ship, he could turn it into a weapon the galaxy had not seen in over a century. But first, he had to survive. The aliens pressed the attack again. Missiles streaked toward the ship, but Jace anticipated them, flipping the ship upside down, then forward, using the asteroid belt as cover. Each move frustrated the aliens more. Their communications crackled with panic. Humans were not supposed to survive this long, and certainly not in abandoned ships. Jace noticed a pattern. The aliens relied on repeating tactics. They were fast, but their strategy was predictable. Humans could exploit this. Using the ship's advanced navigation, he calculated a route that would draw the aliens into a narrow passage lined with massive asteroids. It was risky. A single miscalculation could crush the ship, but Jace trusted his instincts. The fleet followed. As predicted, they collided with rocks, their hulls scraping and sparking. Jace laughed. "Too slow," he muttered. With the aliens temporarily out of the way, he turned to the ship's memory core. It contained data the original crew had stored, centuries of exploration, knowledge of alien tactics, and designs for weapons humans had never built. Using the ship's systems, he began unlocking old modules. The turrets powered up fully, shields stabilized, and energy cores aligned. The ship was awakening into its full potential. Hours turned into a day as he worked, dodging alien scouts that still pursued him. He had become more than a mechanic. He was now the captain, the strategist, the human element that made the ship unbeatable. He discovered something remarkable in the memory core. The ship contained a map of the galaxy, marking regions where humans had been hunted, lost, or presumed extinct. One system in particular stood out, a human colony long forgotten, hidden beyond alien sensors. It was intact, still waiting, and it could be humanity's new foothold in the sector. Jace felt a surge of hope. Humanity was not defeated. They had left behind a legacy that the galaxy could not erase, and now he held that legacy in his hands. The alien scouts returned, more cautious this time. They had realized that this was no ordinary human ship. They attacked in waves, but Jace used everything at his disposal, speed, maneuverability, and the ship's intuition, to evade them. Turrets fired bursts that disabled their engines without destroying the ships. He wanted to teach them a lesson, not destroy them. The aliens, frustrated and beaten, began to retreat. Jace watched them vanish into the darkness. He let out a long breath. The immediate threat was gone, but he knew this was only the beginning. As the ship glided through space, he reflected on what he had learned. Humans were underestimated, often written off as fragile or primitive. But here he was, a single human, using a ship abandoned for 117 years to survive against a modern alien fleet. That was human strength, intelligence, courage, and the ability to adapt. He activated the ship's long-range communications. A signal encoded in ancient human encryption pulsed through the galaxy. It was a message. Humanity was alive, clever, and not to be underestimated. Jace smiled. "Let's see how the galaxy likes that," he said. But even as he plotted his next course, he sensed the ship's anticipation. It was more than metal and circuits. It was waiting for a human mind to guide it, to make decisions, to think in ways no alien could. And Jace understood that fully. This was more than a fight for survival. It was a rebirth. Humanity had been written off, abandoned, and forgotten. But now, with this ship and with human ingenuity, the galaxy would remember. The stars stretched before him, infinite and bright. The ship hummed with life. And Jace Arden, mechanic turned captain, prepared for the journey ahead. He would awaken more systems, explore forgotten human colonies, and challenge any alien who dared underestimate him. Because humans were unpredictable. Humans were clever. Humans were survivors. And one human with the right tools could turn a centuries-old ship into a force the galaxy had never seen. As the asteroid belt faded behind him, Jace's thoughts turned to the future. The ship had survived 117 years waiting for him. Now it was time for humanity to take its place again. And this time the galaxy would not forget. Jace floated in the bridge, staring at the glowing holographic star map. The alien scouts had retreated, their ship scattered and damaged, but Jace knew better than to feel safe. The galaxy was vast, and wherever humans were feared, the aliens would eventually return. The ship hummed beneath him, alive in a way that felt almost conscious. Every panel, every circuit seemed to respond to his thoughts. He understood now. This vessel was not just a machine. It was a tool of human ingenuity, a legacy of a species that refused to be forgotten. He turned back to the memory core, scrolling through the centuries-old logs. The original crew had designed this ship as humanity's failsafe. It was capable of survival, exploration, and, if necessary, defense. Weapons could target fleets without destroying planets. Shields could absorb near-impossible damage. And navigation systems could evade the fastest enemies by thinking ahead, predicting outcomes in ways only humans could. "This is incredible," Jace whispered. "They built all this and left it behind." He realized something even more astonishing. The ship could do more than defend itself. It could send a message across the galaxy, broadcasting humanity's presence, resilience, and intellect. He would not just survive. He would announce to every corner of space that humans were still here. Jace activated the communication arrays, linking to the ancient human encryption embedded in the ship. A signal pulsed outward, hopping from relay to relay, reaching hidden colonies, lost outposts, and even alien observation posts. It was a declaration. Humanity lived, and it could outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast any opponent. As the signal spread, alarms blared. Alien fleets, monitoring the sector, detected it. Confusion rippled across their communications. They had assumed humans were extinct or weak. Now, a single human with a ship abandoned for over a century had declared that assumption false. Jace smiled, feeling the surge of human pride. "Let us show them what humans can do," he said. The ship's engines thrummed with power. Jace guided it into hyperspace, choosing a course toward the hidden human colony marked in the memory core. The journey was long, but he was not alone. The ship's systems continued to awaken, revealing hidden compartments, weapons, and shields. Each discovery reminded Jace that humans had always planned for the impossible. During the jump, he examined the ship's tactical systems. The turrets could rotate 360 degrees, targeting multiple ships simultaneously. Energy shields could redirect attacks, not just absorb them. And the navigation system calculated hundreds of outcomes per second, all designed for a human operator. No alien fleet, no matter how advanced, could predict his moves. Hours later, the ship exited hyperspace. The hidden human colony appeared in the sensors, tucked within an uncharted nebula. Its buildings were simple but functional, shielded from alien detection. Generations had lived here, isolated, unaware that humanity's survival depended on them. Jace transmitted a signal in clear human code. The colony's inhabitants responded with astonishment. A human voice spoke through the communicator. Who is this?" Jace smiled. "Name S. Jace Arden. You're not alone. Humanity is alive, and we've come to bring you home." Panic and excitement erupted on the colony. People rushed to gather to see the ship that had survived 117 years, piloted by a single human who had awakened it from slumber. Children stared wide-eyed as the vessel descended. Elderly colonists shook their heads in disbelief. Humanity had been hidden, but it was not defeated. But Jace knew there was little time to celebrate. Alien fleets were still out there, watching, learning. If they discovered the colony, all these people would be in danger. He had to act. He activated the ship's defensive systems fully. Holographic screens displayed dozens of alien ships approaching sectors nearby. They would not find the colony here. Jace's plan was simple: teach the aliens a lesson they would never forget. Using the ship's advanced maneuvering, he led a squad of alien scouts into an ambush. Hidden in asteroid fields and nebula clouds, the ship appeared and disappeared unpredictably. Turrets fired precise bursts, disabling alien engines without destruction. Shields absorbed attacks that would have shattered any other vessel. The aliens were outmatched, not by brute force, but by human unpredictability. Jace observed the alien commander's frustration on the sensors. They could not comprehend the logic behind his moves. Humans were unpredictable, clever, and relentless. They had relied on patterns, strategies, and brute calculations. But humans, especially one human with the right tools, acted beyond expectation. The final showdown came near a cluster of massive asteroids. Jace guided the ship through tight gaps and sudden spins, drawing the alien fleet into confusion. The ship's turrets disabled critical systems on their vessels, and energy shields reflected their attacks harmlessly into space. Then, Jace did something bold. He activated the ship's main communication array, broadcasting every move he made in real time, encoded in a human logic pattern. It was a message to the galaxy: humans are not extinct. Humans are clever. Humans survive. Alien fleets, observing, scrambled. Their coordination broke down. Ships collided or drifted out of formation. Their attacks failed. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy realized humans were not to be underestimated. After hours of tactical maneuvers, the alien forces retreated. Defeated, humiliated, they vanished into deep space. Jace watched them go, a sense of satisfaction washing over him. Humans had survived, and they had done it the human way, with ingenuity, courage, and relentless determination. Jace returned to the colony. Children ran to greet the ship as it landed. Elderly colonists shook his hand, their eyes wide with awe. Humanity, hidden and forgotten, was now awake again. He deactivated the weapons systems but left the ship fully operational. This vessel was more than a machine. It was a symbol, a testament to human creativity and persistence. Jace climbed to the bridge and looked out at the stars. The galaxy was vast, full of threats but also full of opportunity, and humanity was ready. He accessed the memory core one final time. The logs contained plans for exploration, colonization, and defense, everything humanity had ever dreamed of, and now it was all within reach. "Abandoned for 117 years, Jace said aloud, "and still we find a way." The colonists cheered. Jace smiled. The ship hummed, lights pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. Humanity was no longer hidden. It was alive, clever, and unstoppable. The galaxy would remember. And Jace Arden, human mechanic turned captain, would ensure it never forgot what humans were capable of. The stars stretched infinitely, waiting for humanity to step boldly into the future. And with this ship, with ingenuity, courage, and persistence, humans would claim their place among the stars once more. The galaxy had underestimated humans for too long. Now it had learned the truth. Humans survived. Humans thrived. Humans always find a way. And the adventure was only beginning.